Hear me out. Ted Lasso Season 3 was actually pretty great. Yes, I know this contradicts the general consensus that the final season fell flat, but I stand by my opinion. After finishing the last episode and logging onto social media to celebrate the satisfying conclusion, I quickly realized that my thoughts weren't widely shared. It felt a bit like the John Travolta meme from Pulp Fiction, confused and unsure of where things went wrong. The hype surrounding the show drew me in initially, and Ted, played by Jason Sudeikis, kept me subscribed to Apple TV+. He's upbeat, warm, and optimistic, traits the world definitely needs more of. It didn't take long to realize that Ted Lasso was more than just a quirky comedy about a clueless American football coach in the British soccer world. It was a deeply thoughtful show with rich character development. After 2 successful seasons, one at 92% and the next at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, Season 3 had big shoes to fill. But it ultimately ended with a solid 81% score, which, while still praiseworthy, seemed to leave some fans disappointed. Fans expected every plotline to be neatly tied up, but the reality is that no series finale can ever satisfy everyone. The creators of Ted Lasso made choices that led to an ending not everyone was happy with, but that's simply part of the subjective nature of art. The issue with the separate storylines. Seasons 1 and 2 of Ted Lasso expertly handled a variety of character arcs, from the love story between Keely, Juno Temple, and Roy, Brett Goldstein, to Ted's struggle with mental health. Each character got their own thoughtful backstory, giving us moments of comedy, depth, and heartfelt growth. Fans were invested in these characters, and the storytelling was sharp. By Season 3, however, many felt that the storylines became disjointed, with too many characters and not enough focus on the main arcs. Some even felt that major events were glossed over or told through dialogue rather than being shown on screen. The criticism centered on the fact that many of the character developments were implied, not explicitly detailed, leaving some viewers feeling unsatisfied. But I disagree. Take Keely, for example. Her story in Season 3 was rich with growth. She stood up for herself when her old friend Shandy, Ambreen Razia, tried to take advantage of her. She maintained a supportive relationship with Rebecca, Hannah Waddingham, reinforcing the show's theme of female friendship. Keely's personal and professional life blossomed, and while we didn't see every single moment unfold on screen, we understood that she was evolving. It made sense for her character to continue growing beyond the confines of the show, leaving viewers with the feeling that there was more to her story yet to be told. Not every moment needs to be shown. One of the best things about Ted Lasso is how it avoids spoon-feeding viewers every detail. Take the breakup between Keely and Roy. It happens off-screen, but we understand why. Keely's career is taking off, while Roy is at a crossroads in his own. Their relationship wasn't doomed because of a lack of love, but because they were simply in different places in life. We don't need to watch every tearful conversation to get it. Similarly, Nick Mohammed, decision to leave West Ham was handled with subtlety. The show doesn't waste time showing him quitting his job or having a dramatic confrontation with Rupert, Anthony had. Instead, we see Nate walking to Jade, Edita Budnick, and embracing her, a quiet moment that speaks volumes about his character's realization. The writers trusted us to fill in the blanks based on what we already knew about Nate. His departure was meaningful because it represented his emotional growth, not just a plot point. Jason Sudeikis stands by his show. Despite the criticism surrounding Season 3, Jason Sudeikis hasn't wavered in his support for the show. He explained in the untold story behind Ted Lasso that the show, particularly in Season 3, asked the audience to be active participants. Some people embraced this, while others, he acknowledged, might have preferred a more straightforward narrative. His comments reflect the essence of Ted Lasso. It's a show that invites viewers to reflect, think, and engage, rather than simply consume. In the end, I believe the show delivered on its promise. The character arcs were wrapped up in a way that felt true to their development, and though the season didn't tie up every loose end, it left enough room for the characters to continue evolving beyond the screen. Ted Lasso was never meant to be a conventional sitcom. The charm of the show lies in its unpredictability, heart, and its refusal to follow typical TV tropes. Season 3 was a fitting conclusion to a remarkable journey, and while not every viewer may agree, it's certainly not fair to label it as categorically bad. It was, like the show itself, full of heart, and that's what matters most.